So another Starfield video. This one's going to be from Space Tomato, and this is the first one I want to watch because out of everybody that I know from the Star Citizen community, Space Tomato's been following this and has been most excited and has done the most, I think, research about the project. And I'm more interested in his opinion than anyone else's. So, except, sorry, it's a bit loud.
Boy, I am so pumped, guys. Oh my gosh. So at long last, I promise this is not fake energy. This is so exciting. At long
No,
last,
it's not. I know it's not.
Starfield has been revealed with actual gameplay. And whoa. I think the last time I was this excited after a gameplay presentation was probably like Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oof.
But this is different, right? But first,
but this is different.
let's just talk about what they've shown us at the showcase,
camera.
what's going to be in this game, and then you guys can go to the main channel, Space Tomato, to get more of that deep opinion next week, or I don't know, whenever it happens. So we got some crazy confirmations in this video, and some actually pretty big surprises to me. I did not expect some of this stuff. First of all, 100 systems, more than 100 star systems in this game. And this isn't like Mass Effect where there's star systems scattered and you can only go to certain ones. They're telling us that we can go to any one of these star systems, any one of these planets. We're saying over 1,000 planets. This is a big game. I'm actually really impressed that they hit this number, and I hope they go into a little more depth as to how they achieved this. How much of it is handmade? How much of it is procedural? You know, they probably won't give us those details, but I'd still love to hear them. What I'm imagining they did is probably kind of similar to CIG, where they handmade a bunch of different assets and designs and biomes and stuff like that, and then procedurally they applied them to planets, but we don't know. But the most important thing, in my opinion, is that we got a really good look at the tone that they're trying to set with this game. We got to see some cities, we got to see plenty of exploration.
It's very
we got to even see ship interiors.
Frontier. You know, it's very frontier-like.
And like many of Bethesda's games, we also got to see plenty of combat. Now, I'm not super interested in combat, but it looked like they have a huge system for crafting, for customizing weapons, for putting together your perfect loadout for what you want to do. And that leads us into the next little bit, in that this is an RPG, right? So you can make the player that's a sneaky person who only can tiptoe past people and break in, but if they get into a firefight, they're done for. You can make the person who only knows how to punch people but is really, really strong. You can make the person who loves really intense sci-fi lasers and only fights with that kind of stuff. You can be a good pilot, you could be a good hacker, you could be a good talker. Bethesda games are great at letting you actually roleplay and actually be who you want to be. Now, they kind of got away from that a bit with Fallout 4, but they've talked about how this game is supposed to be more like their older games like Morrowind or like Oblivion, where you get to do more of that role playing, and it looks like they're really working on that with this one. So we'll see what they do with that in the future, but I'm excited to see that, and honestly very, very excited to see different factions that we can team up with, kind of like the Free Star Alliance or the Crimson Fleet. So like I said, there was a lot of combat here as well. These settled systems, which they call this area that we're going to be in, isn't really very friendly, it seems. There's a lot of fauna, a lot of flora, there's a lot going on, and you're kind of in the middle of what doesn't really seem like a war, but a series of skirmishes that are really starting to heat up the area and make you have to be more aware of who you're fighting and who you're fighting for. While there is combat, and Bethesda is very good at doing weapons that are customizable and really cool, the game is still focused on exploration. You are working for a company, Constellation, that focuses on the exploration of these planets, and you're one of the last. And what happened is,
I don't understand the you're one of the last 300 years in the future. That's the only part that is like a little weird by me. Why are we one of the last?
that you came across this artifact somewhere and you got some visions, and everybody's like, ooh, he got visions. Why? And you're like, I don't know, let's find more artifacts. Maybe we can, you know, toss visions back and forth, have a little vision brainstorming. And so that's the premise so far. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it?
Yep.
But that's the thing.
Very
this
Mass
game,
Effect.
I'm seeing stuff from No Man's Sky here. I'm seeing interesting little bits from Mass Effect Andromeda, Mass Effect 1. A little bit of Outer Worlds is there, Mass Effect 3, Elite Dangerous, and even a little bit of Star Citizen in there. This is a game that feels like it's pulling from this resurgence in space games that's been happening over the last 10 years and
it's a
really
good
kind of
thing.
bringing it together into a AAA package. Now, I'm not going to go full hype and say that they've nailed it because we have no idea what this is. Literally a first impression. I'm excited for what I'm seeing, but I'm not going to say they've actually done what they're claiming. What they're claiming is very cool, but I want to let's be very clear. This could all not go well, right? We saw what happened with Cyberpunk. We've seen what happened with Anthem, Mass Effect, Andromeda. There's a lot of games that like,
I mean, Fallout 76, like literally from this company, right?
look cool and then don't
Fallout
do great.
4
So
wasn't
this stuff
that
is all
well
great. It's really cool. And you
received.
can see a lot of the spirit of other space games in it, which is exciting, but we got to pump the brakes just a little. Now, what's also great,
Coming from him, it's wild because he is the most excited for this game out of anybody that I know, and even he's saying pump the brakes.
as I've mentioned, there are a lot of locations. You got plenty of cities, you got flora and fauna to discover, you got things to scan. I saw some outposts there. You can build your own outposts. There is base building in this game, which is also very cool, and seems to actually be pretty filled out. It looks like they have a resource system that's going to allow you to generate power at your outposts and actually run it. And they're also saying you're going to be able to hire NPCs to be at those outposts to keep them running, as well as on your ship. That's when we got to see a little bit of ship interiors.
Very cool stuff as far as
We
that
haven't seen
goes
any
so
ground
far.
vehicles in this though, but manual space flight is a thing. You're going to be able to take off in your ship and go into space and fight other people. We don't really know how deep that's going to get though. I have huge questions regarding this. Can we actually manually land on the planet, or are we just clicking on a globe? Because when they showed us a star map, we were just looking down.
Yeah, it says X to land there. My camera's in front of it, right? But here, let me move my cam to the right, and you can see X to land. So, yeah, it's a little.
Land on the planet, or are we just clicking on a globe? Because when they showed us a star map, we were just looking down on a globe at where to go. Well, how much?
Thing is, for me, I'm totally okay with that. Anybody else got a problem with that? Because I don't. I have no problem with X to land, load that planet in, and have that planet have enough gameplay to be enjoyable on it. Yeah.
How much gameplay is there going to be in space? Are we
no
just
problem
shooting
with
other
that.
spaceships, or can we go and find derelicts? Can we
Put myself
explore
back down at the
asteroids?
bottom.
Are there interesting points of, well, interest in space? And finally, with the ship interiors, how much do we actually get to explore them? How useful are they? Do we get to use them while we're in space, or is it only while the ship's landed on the ground? So there's definitely questions starting to pop up with this stuff that they've shown us, and that's why I'm thinking, let's hold off and see how far they're really going with this before we get too excited. But from what we've seen from this, I mean, there's a lot to be pumped about. They've got some huge ticket items that I think people have been asking for a while. Ship interiors is obviously a big one.
The ship
ability to fly your spaceship,
customization's insane.
landing on moons and planets, procedurally
I really
designed
like that part
environments that you can
out of
explore
everything.
with fauna and flora, cities, characters, storylines, character custom.
This channel's great. He's underrated. Maybe by you. I think as far as Star Citizen creators go, he's one of the larger ones. He just hasn't been around as long as your board gamers. So the sub count may not be as high, but he's not underrated by me. That's for sure.
Customization, a background, and RPG system. This has everything that a space-based RPG could need, but I'm sure there's more. I'm not the master of this. In fact, I haven't actually gotten to play many space-based RPGs because they haven't made many. So I will be looking in the comments at what you guys have to say about all this, because I'm sure I'm not thinking of everything. And this is just my first impressions video. I'm gonna have something a lot deeper to put out on this. I actually have a video I'd already written up talking about how this game is definitely a major part of Microsoft's strategy in this new generation of gaming. And I think this is going to be good for a lot of the sci-fi games. That's actually something that will likely come up as well. Will this kill Star Citizen? No. Will this kill Elite Dangerous or No Man's Sky or
I mean, Elite already killed itself.
Space Engineers or Outer Worlds? No. They're all different games. In fact, I think this is going to be good for the genre as a whole. I think that what this is going to do is introduce an entire new generation of people who've never gotten to try a space game, because there haven't been any great, amazing space games in the last 10 years, right? On consoles in the AAA space, there aren't that many things for people to try out. So we have a huge window of people who've never gotten to experience Knights of the Old Republic or Star Wars Galaxies. All these things that people really hold dear from the early 2000s and the 90s. We don't have people who know them. So I think this is going to
I was gonna say something like that as well, and he kind of came in there and said it is like, I don't know how we look at this other than like a good thing. It's definitely gonna bring people to the genre, and it's going to, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, all roads are gonna end up leading to Star Citizen in the end, because Star Citizen is the most ambitious out of all these projects. And whether people stay and enjoy Star Citizen is going to be up to Star Citizen, right? But the idea of a game coming out like this is just going to bring in more people to be like, once I'm done with the single player game and I want more, where do I go? And there's like really one road to take at the moment, and I think that's kind of an exciting thing. Is about it is just that in general, you know. I'm excited for this, and I definitely think I'll play it, but I think there's nothing better for people who are excited for Star Citizen than seeing things like this, because it's just bringing more and more and exciting more and more people about the genre, about space games, about space. I mean, I can remember watching Bad News Baron streams when he was flying to the center of the galaxy in Elite Dangerous and learning about space as he went. So when he came across something, he would do research on it. Just little things like that are cool in general. So it's, I don't know. I find it to be just a good thing.
And introduce people to the genre, get them more excited for this kind of stuff, and show them some of these other games that clearly have influenced Starfield in
What
some
happened
way.
to Baron? Still streams as far as I know.
I'll be covering this game a lot going up until release, and hopefully after that, depending on how much I like it, and doing a lot of casual discussion and videos like this over here, first impressions and reactions and things like that. But if you want more of those detailed, in-depth videos, higher quality and stuff like that, check out my main channel, Space Tomato, and I will surely try and keep you all up to date on what's going on with Starfield, how it compares to the other space games in the genre, and what we could expect from it going forward. But this was our first real look at the game. I'm very impressed with it. I'm always going to stay cautiously optimistic, but whew, there's some good stuff here to be excited for. Anyways,
it could be
until
fun.
Next time, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.
I thought that was like pretty well balanced and everything. I thought that was good. Thank you, Tomato. A lot more balanced than I thought it was going to be, actually. Because I know he was super excited, so I thought he was just going to go nuts and be mega excited about it. And yeah, he wasn't crazy excited. He was nicely cautiously optimistic and pretty well balanced, and I like it. Nice.